I'm really happy to be here and really happy to support Bill HB5108. It's got a really long name, but basically we're looking at the appeal process for vegetation management across the state by utility companies. So in my neck of the woods, Lower Fairfield County, we are seeing quite a bit of vast cutting of our trees. I know it's happening across the state, and I know it's for very good reason, and so do all of my constituents. We understand that we need power resiliency. We need to have our electrical lines protected, and we're very aware of that. But my concern is that in the haste of making sure we have resilient power lines, we have not taken into, we don't have a balanced approach with our environment and our trees. So my proposal today is to take a look at some of the issues with the vegetation management and the appeal process. Today, you're going to hear from a lot of my constituents, particularly on Little Brook Road. And on this particular road, there's probably Department of Transportation land, and then it's Department of Transportation land, it's town land, and then across the street are a bunch of houses. So one of the issues is that when you cut trees down, you have to allow the abutting property. No, in that scenario, there's only one house that had abutting property, whereas that whole street, every house on that street is vastly affected by the clear cutting that went on. So that would be the first proposal that I would make, is that we increase the definition of abutting to be something like many of the planning and zoning areas use, in that it's a radius or maybe a foot distance, but not just touching. The second one would be looking at the amount of time that some of these notices are given. Right now, it's just 10 days, and that's kind of a lot to get everything together. I mean, I know I found out about this, and given my background is not with trees or energy, but I had lawyers that could help, and it still took me some time to research all this. So what are we expecting really of our constituents that have never dealt with dealing with how to deal with utility companies? I also expect that the owners of property, the utility companies or ConnDOT, I expect them to be good stewards of their land in these neighborhoods. And when I say that, if you could just walk down Little Brook Lane, you would understand that it is now mud. So I expect that people that own land in these towns are just good stewards of their land, because what happens on that land is going to affect that whole neighborhood. We know that things like flooding is not something that just happens to an abutting property. So if you've all of a sudden taken down vast amounts of vegetation and vast amounts of trees, and you're creating some sort of flooding effect, are we really at the cost benefit of taking those trees down? That summarizes what I want to say, but I know that I do have several constituents here, and would really ask that you take a look at their testimonies and their pictures. Thank you so much.